According to one website, there's a reason for this. One website? What website? The online campaign to burn or tear the pages of the Quran comes at the backdrop of recent trends where anti-Islamic activist groups in a few European countries, such as Sweden and Norway, have resorted to public burning of the Quran, which resulted in widespread rioting. This has nothing to do with why we did it. Maybe instead of checking one website, you could have asked us, Heman. I would have responded to your email. One website. Or maybe you could have just checked the many videos that we already explained why we do stuff like this, instead of looking at someone else's website. An activist group called Stop Islamization of Norway, SIAN, has carried out various campaigns in recent times to desecrate the Quran. Okay, so here's basically what he's trying to do. This is like a woke tactic. Like, oh, look at what Armin doing. You know who else is doing? You know who else is doing what Armin is doing? Let's see. Let's see if it's going to go there. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let me not assume. Okay. Just like Islamist mobs in Sweden and Norway had unleashed violence against these anti-Islam groups and had damaged public properties after there were rumors that some of these activists had burnt the Quran. So people destroyed copies of the holy book. Then extremists followed of that holy book, did extreme things, leading to more destructions of holy book, and the cycle continues. Okay, so is this a blaming the victim kind of mentality? Like, oh, look at them, look at these Muslims burning properties. Like, well, see, actually, I don't want to associate with this group because this group has problematic views. But I think Heman has no problem in doing just guilt by association tactics, as the woke people do. We'll see, but well, maybe he doesn't.
Okay, so he doesn't even understand how guilt by association work. Okay, so the guilt by association fallacy is only a fallacy when you actually have little commonality with the group that you're being associated with. For example, if I said Armin and Pol Pot both hate religion, therefore, since Pol Pot was a bad person who had a genocidal tendencies, then Armin must also have genocidal tendencies. And since Pol Pot was a communist, Armin must also be a communist, and something like that. This would be guilt by association, because the thing is that Armin and Pol Pot has very little in common, right? I mean, other than their hatred for religion, they really have nothing else in common. I mean, Pol Pot was a leader. He was a fascist. Armin is nothing like that. I mean, he could possibly be a fascist in the future. I don't know. But however, this is not the case. However, this is not the same with the right-wing groups. You see, let me show you. Number one, both the right-wing group in Sweden and Norway and Armin wants to stop Islamicization of the West. 2. Both Armin and the right-wing group desecrate the Quran to protest against Islam. 3. Both Armin and the right-wing group evoked a reaction out of Muslims and didn't care about the religious sensitivities of the Muslims. 4. Both Armin and the right-wing group has the same goal, which is stopping Islam, or stopping the spread of Islam. Now, the only difference you have with them is that you don't want to stop Muslims from migrating to the West. Other than that, you literally have no difference either in tactic or in goals. So this is not guilt by association. You're doing the exact same thing they're doing, and with the same goal in mind. You are a right-wing Islamophobe, Armin. Just because you have one small difference doesn't change anything. Regardless, let's continue.
All the desensitization that we have done for Muslims, which is in their best interest. Again, guys, this is in the best interest of Muslims. I cannot emphasize this enough. Okay, one of the many reasons why we do this is to make it so that far-right activists cannot take advantage of Muslim community this easily, right? Like when the far-right activists, they do this, they want the burning and the looting and the people coming in the streets, right? They like the sensitive nature of Muslims to go poke, poke, poke. Oh, look at these Muslims, like I could poke and I could get a reaction, and they want the reaction. Okay, what we're doing is the exact opposite. What we're doing is we are desensitizing Muslims because we are helping them and the Hindus. We are trying to make it so that they are, it's in their best interest so that the bigots and the people that do want a reaction, they can't take advantage of it. And this is why, unlike the people that want a major reaction, when we get Hindus or Muslims that say that, look at me, I'm not getting a reaction, even when they say, like, Armin, I actually support you, or even if they say, Armin, I don't support you, but you do you, or Armin, like, you're like F you, but people, can you please not give them attention? Every single one of these scenarios, we were like, yes, exactly that. We want that. And we celebrate that, and we highlight. Again, I try to go out of my way to find those few and rare in between people that keep saying that, like, hey guys, let's not react to this. I try to highlight those, and I have actually something prepared. I'm going to highlight that in the Hindu. I'm going to do another live stream when I go over all the Hindu stuff later. I'm going to do some of the Hindu stuff today, but I'm going to have another live stream dedicated to looking at all the reactions I got to the Hindu post that I made. But I will highlight all the people that are telling everybody, like, guys, chill, right? Because that is the result that we want.
Okay, so a lot of right-wing people say the exact same thing. Hey, Muslims, as long as you're, a good house slave, and accept our culture and our tradition and our secular values, we're gonna be okay with you. It's the whole reason why you and Tommy Robinson love Imam Tawhidi, or the so-called Imam of Peace, because he's a good house slave, unlike us savage Muslims who are basically field slaves, who actually have self-respect and dignity.
Guys, so he's saying they oppose anti-Muslim bigotry, but really, Ahmed, are you going to suggest that I am feeding into anti-Muslim bigotry? Like you really haven't done your research if you're going to suggest anything like that. Oh my God, the reason, okay, really, look at this. Holy crap, he's actually, look at this. Look at what he's saying. But at a time when Muslims in India are facing genocide and Muslims in China are being sent to re-education camps. Guys, you guys, the people who here are in this channel, you guys are familiar with our work, right? The people that have been here for a couple of years. Do you know? You guys know what is one of the most outspoken? Who are one of the most outspoken YouTube channels and content creators against the way Muslims are treated in India and against China's concentration camps? Which like, can we think of it? Can we think of an example? What is one of the leading voices that has been desperately trying to bring attention to these cases before other people jumped on that bandwagon? Let me think. It's the Atheist Republic. It's been the Atheist Republic on our Facebook page, on our Twitter, on our podcast, on my Secular Jihadist podcast with Ali Rizvi, and our YouTube. And also another thing that you're not pointing out, the war in Yemen against the Muslims who are victims in the war of Yemen, and calling out not just Saudi Arabia and Iran, but also the support of the United States for that war. Who's been calling that out? Who's been calling that out? Who's been calling that out? We have been calling that out. We have been calling it out. Do you think we are being used by far-right anti-Muslim bigots, Heman? Have you seen the way we talk about it? We have more anti-China content than anti-Islam content because of the way they've been treating Muslims. Do you think like we're being, based on that, we're playing right into the hands of right-wing zealots? You know, like just in the past couple of months, people are now finally talking about the Chinese concentration camp. You know who's been doing that for the past couple of years and desperately wondering why nobody else is talking about it? It was us, Heman. We have been doing that. Maybe check our fucking record.
Oh my God, we have been condemning the obvious things that any human being should be condemning. Clearly, we can never be an anti-Muslim bigot. Do you know who else have done that? Do you know who else have done that? That's right, the Trump administration, the daddy of the conservative right-wing movement, the daddy of the Islamophobia industry. Here in one article by VOA News, it reads, the Trump administration has not described Beijing's action as genocide, but National Security Council, or NSC, spokesman John Ulliott condemned the Chinese treatment of the Uyghurs. He said China had committed horrific acts against women, including forced abortion, forced sterilization, and other coercive birth control methods, state-sponsored forced labor, sexual violence, including rape in detention, compulsory home stays by Han officials, and forced marriages. Are you going to say that Trump is not an anti-Muslim bigot? Not just that, the right-wing Trump government also condemned Indian government in an old report in regards to religious freedom. Tell me, Armin, how are you different again? Just because you have condemned China and India and the US support for the war in Yemen does not mean that you're not feeding into the anti-Muslim bigotry. So you can stop the crocodile tears. I can see through you, asshole. Regardless, let's continue.
This stunt strikes me as nothing more than a cheap shot at Muslims, with no attempt to get any more nuanced. Okay. Okay, wait, hold on. It's a giant FU to Muslims in general. I don't understand it. Wait, hold on, just a second. I don't get how it accomplishes anything useful, and I don't get why any stunts likely to draw praises from anti-Muslim hate groups and the likes of Laura Loomer is something.
Oh, poor Armin Navabi. He's crying. Oh. Who knew that when you act like a piece of shit, people treat you like a piece of shit? By the way, I love the fact that Heman Mehta actually made him cry. Anyway, let's continue.
All of Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, palm reading, vaccine conspiracies, QAnon stuff, all of it is bad.
Really, Armin? So all of Islam is bad? Let's take a look and see what Islam actually teaches. Prophet ﷺ said, Asmas reported, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, peace be upon him, said, spend in charity and do not count it, lest Allah count it against you. Do not hoard it, lest Allah withhold it from you. You can read about this in Sahih al-Bukhari 2451. Now, Ibn Hajar said that the meaning is that do not store wealth in a vault and thus be miserly in giving charity, lest you are recompensed in the same way for that. You can read about this in Fath al-Bari 2450. So here we see that Islam is teaching us to not be shy in giving charity. It is teaching us to give charity and not hoard wealth from other people. Now, according to Armin, this is a bad thing because everything in Islam is bad. Let me put this argument in logical form. Premise 1. According to Armin, the cock, everything in Islam is bad. Premise 2. We see that Islam teaches us to give charity. Conclusion. Therefore, according to Armin, giving charity is bad. Now, you decide for yourself, which is better? Islam, which is teaching you to be selfless, to give charity, or Armin's version of secular humanism, which is teaching you that giving charity is a bad thing? You decide for yourself.
PG, you're allowed to say Allah Hu Akbar on this channel, but you're saying it like six or seven times in a row. And if you keep saying it in so many times in a row, I'm going to block you from this channel, okay?
Hey guys, we believe in freedom of speech and freedom of religion, but if you say Allah Hu Akbar more than 6 times, we're gonna ban you. Oh man, this guy wastes himself just by hearing Allah Hu Akbar more than 6 times. What a coward and a bigot. Either way, I'm done with this clown. I'm gonna end the video here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, inshallah, and I'll see you guys in the next time. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.